Aloha and welcome to this video. My name is Motivational Micah, and in this video today I just wanted to kind of talk about Lyft and Uber and what they're going through. Mostly I'm going to kind of focus on Lyft, but I will from time to time bring in Uber to kind of explain some points. So basically I've been a driver for over 2.5 years. I started when I was 21 and I haven't had to have another job since. So it's been paying me well enough to allow me to live my life the way I want to. I love the freedom of Lyft and Uber. I love the opportunity it gives me. I love being able to write my own check every week. You know, if I want to make $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 every week, I can. I live here in Oahu on Hawaii, so it's a really busy spot. Get a lot of tourists, you get a lot of people from all over the world. And then you also have a lot of the locals that actually use Lyft and Uber as well. So basically I just want to go over what Lyft's been doing or what I've been observing, and this is like my perspective as a driver. So I didn't get to start in the good old days like 5-6 years ago when Lyft and Uber was first coming out. I have talked to drivers from then and they used to make a lot of money. I remember one guy told me he made $1,200 just on New Year's Eve. So in one night he made $1,200, and that's a pretty typical weekly paycheck for me. So, you know, me putting in 40 hours, you know, I'll make about 1,200 or so, maybe a little more. It all depends. Anyways, what I've noticed is Lyft and Uber both started out as a very genuine, honest, and community-based company. They cared about the community. They wanted to provide jobs for locals that knew the area, that could give rides to other locals. And basically, they've slowly but surely drifted away from their very humane and realistic and honest and genuine goal at the beginning to become much more of a corporate greed, corporate monster. And what I mean by that is when I first started, I remember that it said I would make up to 75% commission. I would make about 75% commission. But it also had something where if your car was new enough, you could actually qualify for a 95% commission. This is all with Lyft right now. This is what I remember when I signed up. And so at the very beginning, 2.5 years ago when I first started, I had an opportunity to make 95% commission. That's what they were offering. That's what it showed on their website. And it amazed me that I could make that much. But my car wasn't new enough at the time, so I only qualified for 75% commission. And what I've noticed is over the years, they've been taking more and more and more money. And since they both went open market on the stock market, I've noticed I typically make about 50% commission. So both with Lyft, both with Uber, I make about 50% commission. And really what that means is if I'm making $1,500 every week, that's the difference between me making 75 grand a year and 150 grand a year. So if I'm working my ass off, if I'm working my butt off and grinding and hustling, Lyft and Uber are taking advantage of that and taking 50% commission. Now, we don't receive any benefits whatsoever. There have been many Uber drivers, I'm not sure if Lyft drivers as well, but I'm assuming so, have died on the job. So with their app on, they've died from drunk drivers. It's a risky job being a driver. And for whatever reason, they don't feel liable. They don't have any health insurance. They don't have any life insurance. They don't have any dental. They don't have any benefits whatsoever. Yet they still take 50% commission. And basically, I just see things getting worse and worse and worse. I've really appreciated Lyft. I used to love Lyft. I thought they were by far a better company when I first started. I liked that opportunity for people to upload a picture. Everyone seemed more friendly. Everyone seemed to be really sociable, really cool, really fun. And I've just noticed that whatever Lyft has done recently is by far the dumbest thing they've ever done. Because when Uber surges, Lyft doesn't surge anymore. I used to even have this opportunity to make $250 extra a week with Lyft. 250 extra. So every week I'd make 250 extra if I did these things. If I did rides at this time, if I did this many rides, and if I had a certain acceptance rating. And so that was $1,000 every single month, $12,000 a year. If you worked what you needed to work, you could make $12,000 extra cash a year. So they used to have some incentives. Now they have zero. Lyft has no incentives. They don't surge anymore. If it's really busy, they might do a 25% surge or a 50% surge. So a $10 ride would be $12.50, you know. So they might do a little surge like that. And it's amazing that when Uber's surging and I accidentally have my Lyft app on and I forget about it, I will instantly go bing, bing, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, and I'm in town and I'm getting all these requests from all these people. So what I realize is there isn't as many drivers on Lyft. Nowadays, with no incentives, not as many people are driving with Lyft. If Uber's surging, all the drivers switch over to Uber. They turn off their Lyft apps. I probably use my Lyft app maybe 10% of the time, 20% of the time. It's only in situations where I need to get a ride quickly. You know, if I'm out at a different part of the island, you know, if I only have my Uber app on, you know, I only really have a 50% chance of getting a ride. So might as well turn on both. So that's really how I've seen things. For whatever reason, since they've gone corporate, since they've gone open market with the stock market, I've really noticed things have gotten a lot worse. And at one point, Lyft and Uber, you could tell that they were competing with each other. When Uber was surging, Lyft was surging, and their surges kind of rivaled each other, and they were fighting for a certain price. Now Lyft is pretty much, we don't surge. We want our riders to get a cheap ride, so we don't surge, which means there's no drivers that are willing to drive when Uber's surging. And I don't really know why they're doing all this. Like, there's so many things that they could improve upon. There's so many things that could be better. But I mean, what's going on with Lyft and Uber? And what I really think it is they're having such a big picture view. Both invest heavily in driverless cars. So they're both preparing for the future. I think similar to Amazon, they want things to get fully automated. You know, they want to have this huge company and it's all automated. They buy the car and that car is all the expense they need to pay aside from continuous maintenance. They don't need to pay the drivers, they don't need to pay employees. It's just the people at the top and the robots driving people around. But the problem I think with that is robots, especially driverless cars, aren't really around the corner yet. They might start to become a more common thing 5 years from now, maybe a little bit more, a little sooner, a little later. I'm not sure, but I know for myself, I wouldn't trust getting into a driverless car in a world where there's 95%, 98%, 99% human drivers. The computer just doesn't have the experience and the ability to be aware and that experience, that knowledge, the understanding of what really goes on the road. You know, if I'm someone that's driving on the road 40, 50, 60 hours a week, I have lots of experience driving. And I would rather trust myself or trust someone who drives as much as myself than I would trust a robot. I guess this is really just all my thoughts. I really feel that Lyft and Uber are falling. They are losing business. I know that there's I don't know if it's a lawsuit or something, but there's something going on big in California where they are demanding that the employees or the drivers of Lyft and Uber get benefits, that they get treated and labeled as employees. It's an interesting world where all these new companies, YouTube, Google, all of these newer things, Amazon, they're going through things that haven't happened yet. So Lyft and Uber have been able to get away with saying we're not employees, we are contractors. When in reality, I never set a price for a ride. I don't even know what the price is until they get out of my car. Until I drop them off at their destination, I don't know what I'm getting paid. I might go out and drive all the way, an hour trip, a 45-minute trip, and I might charge my rider $70 and I'll get 35. So Lyft and Uber are just banking heavily off of us. And it's a really interesting world where the corporations are just abusing and abusing and abusing and getting greedier and greedier and greedier. And there really isn't that much fallback. There really isn't much being done to fix that. So I'm not too sure what the outcome was in California or if there even is an outcome yet. But it amazes me that even them doing that solely in California, it's like if California wins or if they change drivers to be labeled as employees with employee benefits, why would that not apply to all states? Why would that not apply to the world? Why would it only be solely connected to California? So I'm not sure what's going on with all this stuff. But from my perspective as a driver, I'm very disinclined to continue to work as hard as I'm working. I don't feel as valued as I once did. I remember I was on hold for an hour on Uber, and I would talk to some lady from some other country. I could easily tell that she didn't have the best ability to converse with me. She did not help solve my issue, my problem, so I waited an hour for nothing. And they are just trying to profit as much as they can. So that's why they don't have, a 24/7 instant hotline in America. They've got their stuff going out to other countries because they can pay them $1 an hour, $2 an hour instead of 10. And with the amount of money Lyft and Uber actually make, it amazes me that they're still not making money. That amazes me. They claim they're not making money. They're not in profits, yet they take 50% from each and every single driver. I'm giving them $75,000 a year. If I work as much as, if I stay on the ball and I work as much as I can, I'm essentially paying them $75,000 a year. And they give me no benefits, no help, no health insurance, no life insurance, and I have one of the riskiest jobs out there. Like, that might sound lame or untrue, but it's definitely true. In comparison to most of the jobs people do, being a rideshare driver, being a taxi driver, being a trucker is a very dangerous job. There's a lot that can go wrong, and you have to account for all the other idiots on the road. There's a lot of drunk drivers. I drive the late night, so I'm about to go out and work tonight. And it's crazy. It's crazy out there, but I enjoy it. I love it. I love the experience of meeting and talking with new people. I'm just really concerned with these big companies. I know if I ran one of these companies, we'd have a much better outlook on our employees. We would care about our employees. We would do our best to give the best service, to make sure everyone's happy, to get feedback from the drivers, to get feedback from the people that are making them the money. They don't respond to feedback. They don't respond to emails. They don't care, and that's sad. That's the sad truth. So I predict that Lyft and Uber will either shape up really quickly or they will eventually be beaten out by newer rideshare companies. Honest rideshare companies that were created by the drivers, by the employees, for the employees, and for the world. They're going to create something that's cheaper, that pays better, that might give benefits, that is just a better app all around. And that is what the future is. I mean, Lyft and Uber could just be the first two big driverless car apps, and that might be successful. But it's obvious that what they're doing right now, they don't value the people that make them money, and that's sad. So with that, much love, much aloha. Thank you for watching this video. This was just some of my rambling thoughts on Lyft and Uber as a driver from my perspective. There's a lot going on, and I'm not too sure what the future looks like, but I hope things get better. So much love, much aloha. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful life. Thank you for watching this video. Mahalo.